All right, we are live. My name is Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and today we have our panel of guests, our co-hosts, Richard Bentley and Frank Scheringa. And is that correct, Frank? Did I get that right that time or not?
It's just S, not SH. Syringa. That's you're
Scheringa.
close. You're close.
Okay, I'm going to get it, Frank. And then
That's all right.
Mark Giardino. So Frank's going to carry us today, so to speak, and then we'll jump in after that. Frank, what you want to talk about today?
Yeah, well, as you all know, I'm in the process of I'm not sure the Sistine Chapel was took longer than this damn book I'm writing. Only because it's not a book, it's an animated comic strip, and but it's fun. Anyway, so I've done a lot of research on it. As you know, my focus is on getting quality leads so that you can build your business. My focus is I'll show you ways to get people that are interested in what you do, and then you take it from there. I don't do the closing, I don't do the negotiating, I don't do the marketing, I don't do the accounting, I don't do the SEO stuff, all the stuff that you guys are really good at. I don't do that stuff because I'm just not I don't have the patience and I'm not that bright. But anyway, in doing this, my approach has been to learn from the masters. When I say the masters, not learning from the Ted Williams of his day, the Johnny Unitas of his day, but learning from the LeBron James of today and the Andrew Lucks of today. Notice I didn't say Tom Brady or Dick Bentley. Um, learning from the people who are playing in today's game, because today's game is different than yesterday's game. And it's the same thing with prospecting. As I spend some time in my book on, 1993 and 2007 dramatically changed how people buy what they're going to buy, learn about what they're going to dramatically change. And we talk about the internet and the iPhone. And yet, small business owners especially are still prospecting the old ways. And so what I've done is I've come up with a list of things that I'll be highlighting, and I've come down to 5 things. And let me put this in perspective. If the majority of your potential customers, target markets, I guess some people call them, are online, if you are honest and ethical, if you have a good product or service, and you charge a fair price, then there are 5 things that you are inflicting upon yourself that is stunting your growth. And when I say self-inflicting, it's stuff that you can stop as soon as you want to. And I'll make 2 statements. Every company that is successful in your marketplace has overcome these 5 things. Unless your company, specifically your company, overcomes these 5 things, your growth will be stunted and you will not achieve the greatness and the volume and the profit margin and the legacy that you want your business to attain. Okay? So that's the background. So I've called these 5 self-inflicted, and I like Steve Jobs, I call them I hurdles, the letter I hurdles, that you must overcome to achieve your company's full potential. Okay, fair enough? Enough
Fair
for
enough.
background? Okay. Self-inflicted I hurdle number 1. You are invisible. What do I mean by that? The right people, in other words, your ideal target market, does not know you exist. And if they don't know you exist, you lose because you're not even invited to the party. Okay? Now, when people say, well, wait a minute, Frank, that's baloney. I send out mailers. I make 20 calls a day, 20 cold calls a day. I go door to door and I knock on people. I hand out brochures and flyers. Um, I have an ad in the local newspaper. I spend time on the radio. I say, whatever. I spend radio ad time and so forth. And I say that's fine. The fact is you're not visible to the right people when they want to see you. It's not when you want to promote, is that when they are interested in seeing what you have to offer. And remember I said about people have changed the way they buy dramatically. They now decide when they want to look at what they're interested in buying. So number one, you are invisible. And I will show you ways of how to become visible at the right time to the right people. And again, I always like to make statements that kind of generate a little controversy. Um, the second best market to attract, if you're a small business owner, the second best, not the best, the second best market to attract is the people who are ready, willing, and able to buy what you offer. Well, that doesn't make sense. Why the hell is he saying something like that? Because everybody's going after that market. It's the most competitive market, and you will be in a price war and a feature war and all the bada bing, bada boom stuff. And that's the second best. You've got to be there, but you can't devote your growth to that market because you will lose your share and somebody else's share. The bigger guys, the cheaper guys normally win when it gets to that point. A study was done the other day since 1993 and then 2007. Before the internet was introduced to the public in 1993, the only way businesses or people could learn about what they were interested in buying was to talk to a salesperson, read a brochure, visit a company, that kind, or watch a radio ad, or listen to a radio ad, watch a TV ad, and so forth. Today, because of the access to the internet, when they want, how they want, and if they want, by the time people reach that, hey, I'm ready, willing, and able to buy status that everybody wants to go after, 65 to 85% of the decisions has been made before you knew they were interested in talking to you. So that's why I'm saying it's the second best. The best time to attract these people and to become visible is when they're starting their search, and I'll teach you how to do that. So that's number one, you are invisible. Self-inflicted eye hurdle number two. They know you exist, but you are ignored. In other words, yeah, I see you, but there's nothing special about you. You look like everybody else. You're one of many, and you are not considered. If you are visible and you are ignored, you lose. There's a way that when people know that you're there, there's a way to attract them, and we talked about that. Self-inflicted eye hurdle number three. Number one, you are visible. Number two, they say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to check on what this company, on what this guy does. They consider you, but they do not think you offer the solution to their problem. You become irrelevant. So you are invisible, you are ignored. Number three is you are irrelevant. There was nothing in your offering when they started to look at you online that said, oh, I want to learn more about this. Last week we talked about the average attention span of a person on the web is 2.8 to 8 seconds, which, by the way, is about the attention span of a goldfish. I think it's closer to 2.8 seconds, at least from my perspective. I'm on Google or whatever search engine I'm on. I say, yeah, I'm interested in this. I click on a site. If immediately I don't see something that grabs me, you know what I do? I hit the back button, and I consider them irrelevant. I do not give them a second chance to make a good first impression. So you've got to be relevant. You are invisible, you are ignored, you are irrelevant. Self-inflicted eye hurdle number four. They know you exist. They consider you. They think you may solve their problem, but they think that you are insipid. What do I mean by insipid? I didn't know what that word meant until I looked it up. There's nothing special. They said, yeah, this guy is talking about what I'm interested in, but they think you are similar to a well-known competitor. They think you may cost more than a well-known competitor. They think going with you is more risk than going with a well-known competitor. They have not noticed that you offer anything uniquely special or important to help them achieve their goals, or they think you are boring. If your potential client. By the way, they're all doing this anonymously without you even knowing the existence. If they think you're similar, you may cost more, you will offer higher risk, there's nothing special, or they think you were boring, bingo, they hit the back button and you lose again. Whenever you are presenting stuff to your potential target market, your information must have these three characteristics. It must be novel. It must be novel. Tell me something I do not know. Okay? Tell me something I do not know. If you're just regurgitating stuff I could have got from other websites, I don't need you. Number one. Number two, you must be insightful. Tell me why you feel the way you feel. Give me your point of view. Give me a different angle looking at the information that you think will be of help to me. You've got to be novel, you've got to be insightful. And the third thing where most people fail upon, you've got to be intriguing. Get me to the point where it says, wow, it's a new way of looking at things. He's given me his or her point of view. I would like to, he hinted, I'd like to learn more about what this person has to say. So you've achieved number 4. We've gone, you are invisible, you are ignored, you are irrelevant, you are insipid. Those are the 5 self-inflicting eye hurdles. The 4. The 5th one is one that trumps everything. You ready? You are insecure. You are needy. Neediness kills deals. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You do not have the right status going into any deal. What causes people to think you are needy? And here's where the controversy comes in. Okay? There are a number of things we do that lower our status to the point where we're begging for their stuff. Baloney. Or as we say in Atlanta, bull crap. How do you tell your prospects that you are needy? Number 1, you cold called or you door knock and you say, do you have time to talk to me? Baloney. Number 2, you meet them and your first words are, I want to thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. I'll go as fast as I can to tell you how good I am. Baloney. Number 3, you agree to meet or reschedule at a time convenient to them, not to you. Your time is just as valuable as their time, and if they don't believe that, then you blew it. Number 4, you offer them a big discount if they just try your product for a little while. Nah, your product is too valuable. Number 4, you continue to call them back and call them back when they don't return your call. That's the ultimate neediness. Here's the anti-Tony Robbins thing. When you meet with them for the first time, you look for things in their office to see things you have in common, such as, oh, you golf, I golf. Oh, I see you like fishing, I fishing. Oh, you were born in Massachusetts. Oh, so was I. Oh, my sister went to the school your sister went to. Oh, you like the Patriots. Oh, that's all signs of neediness. No saying, hey, I have nothing else to offer you. I hope you like me because I'm a kind of guy that went to your school or lived in your hometown or can spell your quarterback's name. Bull crap. Bull crap. Here's the things that will cure you of this self-inflicted eye hurdle. Number 1, you know more about your subject than they do. You have invested time and money to gain your insight and expertise, and you will teach them stuff that will help them do what they want to do. You can help them better than your competitors. You've got to have that attitude. There is only one of you, but many potential of them. You are the prize, and you should act like it. So to recap, the 5 eye hurdles are: you are invisible, you are ignored, you are irrelevant, you are insipid, and you are insecure. Any of those 5s will kill. Now, you may still, you say, well, man, Frank, I'm all 5 of those and I still get the business. Yeah, but you were option B, C, or D. You were not the prime choice, and you're working way too hard to get the business you are getting. Overcome those hurdles, and the world can be yours in today's connected world. And frankly speaking, those are my talking points.
Wow, not even a strong opinion there. I feel rather insecure to even comment on that.
Okay.
I got a few comments on it, though.
Hey, Mr. Jalone.
Hi, I'm coming to you from my mobile office, and As usual, Frank and I differ quite drastically.
Good
I love the
contrast.
internet. Don't get me wrong, the internet is an absolutely wonderful place to gather information, but let's face it, when it comes down to the brass tacks of stuff, you need a professional in front of you to explain things that the internet website just can't do. If I want a brand new camera, I can go onto Amazon and type in digital camera with X amount of pixels, blah this, blah that. But do I get the feel of it? Do I get somebody standing in front of me who knows something about this camera that can tell me the pros, the cons of it? Well, this might not be the right camera for you. Even though your buddy has it, this isn't yours. You know, the internet, we're inundated with information now. But you've got to have, I agree that you've got to have a subject matter expert. We are those subject matter experts. That's our business. We have to know the ins and outs. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to take my personal relationship with my clients and build on that rather than just put a bunch of information on the web. Anybody can research insurance, cameras, websites, how to cook books. But it takes that personal relationship, the depth, the growth of it, people trusting you to make those decisions for them. And let's face it, consumers, they're not in the market to buy. They're in the market to be told what they want to buy. That's the bottom line. You walk in to a car dealership, you have an idea of what you want, but they're going to tell you what you should get.
Okay.
You're the moderator. You tell me how you want to. I have responses, but but I'll gladly wait.
No, go for it, Frank.
Okay. Mark, I totally agree with you. In fact, you're making my point. You know more about annuities and life insurance than 99.9% of the people you will meet at your career at New York Life. No doubt, and you have earned that because of your studies, and I happen to know their program, and it's excellent. But people will buy from you not because you went to University of Texas or if you went to school, UT, went to school. They will buy from you because of your expertise, your wisdom, your knowledge, your caring, and the fact that you will help them. It's not business, it's personal, but it's personal because of what you bring to the table from expertise of the problem I'm trying to solve, which is protect my family or build my retirement income, not because your sister went to the same school as my sister. That's baloney. Maybe that worked in 1992. It's worthless today. So your relationship is built on your expertise. No, of course you're a nice guy. And if you go in and
you're absolutely right. That,
okay,
in
good.
that aspect, yeah, no, I mean, I don't walk into somebody's office and say, hey, by the way, I'm a Stanford alumni, you're a Stanford alumni, we should do business together. No.
Thank you.
The personal side of it is where instead of just pushing products upon your clients, where you actually get that personal relationship to find out exactly what they need. They may think they need a life insurance product or a digital camera with 5,000 megapixels. But when you, excuse me, when you dig a little bit deeper into their personal aspect of it and find out that, oh, well, all they really want for this camera is to be able to pull it out of their pocket and take shots of their grandkids. Well, hey, let's not waste $1,000 on this huge professional camera. This little Sony snap and point, whatever the heck they are, it works perfect. Oh. That's where the personal relationships in business really have to develop. You know, Peter with his business, with the internet all day long. But if he doesn't know exactly what the client wants, it's not going to be as effective as if he knows the exact desired results that they want.
We agree. We agree, and that was a point I wanted to make. Like I said, to make it clear enough, people are going to buy from you because of how you can help them, not because of where the hell you went to school. It's all about how you can help them, and so
I'm
and you and Peter. Okay, yeah, he's on the phone. And they will buy from you because of Peter and Mark and Dick and the other Mark, is because you have information they don't have, and you can help them make the best decision. You know, Jay Abraham. If you know, y'all know who Jay Abraham is. He's out of L.A. He's a guy that I've only spoken to twice on the phone. I've never met him, but he charges $5,000 an hour, and he has to stop doing that because he didn't have enough time. And he made a statement the other day. That your target market is secretly begging to be led by someone that they honor and they trust. Okay, someone that they respect, honor, and trust. They're begging silently though, because they won't say out loud. So I say, hey, please introduce me to someone that can help me, guide me to whatever the problem. And in your case, Mark Shalom, we're talking about life-changing decisions because of the work that you do. And Peter, we're talking about life-changing business plans. And Dick Bentley, we're talking about life-changing legal protection. And Mark Jardina, we're talking about vacation changing plans and memories. And so everything we do is important as hell. And people are saying, please let me find someone that I can respect and that can help me, guide me through this. And you sure as hell don't get the respect when you're out there begging for business. And I'm an anti-business beggar, as you can tell. And that's where I was going with this.
You guys ever
I
remember
agree with that.
Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
You guys ever
thank you.
remember Saturday Night Live? Dan
Big fan.
Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd was always on the news with Jane Curtin, I think her name was, and Dan always came on and says, "Jane, you ignorant slut." You know, so I'm listening to you guys going, "Yeah, but Dick."
But by the way, that was a takeoff on a CNN show called Crossfire.
Yeah, exactly. But it
Yeah,
was always
way
he
back
always
then. Yeah.
he always opened with an insult, so to speak.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
That's what we'll have to name this podcast, Jane, you ignorant slut.
There you go.
Well, that's good stuff, guys. Dick, you want to weigh in on any of that?
Yeah, I just don't know where.
Frank, you ignorant
I'll
slut.
say this. I'll say this about the first 4 points Frank made. I have a disagreement, but not total. And I think he's making some decent points, and you can nuance them. The insecure part, I really strongly disagree. I agree with if you come across needy, begging, and all those other things, the customer's not going to want to do business with you. I disagree with you say, one, instead of being customer-centric, you'd be me-centric. That to me just doesn't hold water. 2, when you say, if they don't want it, if you call them back, you come across needy. Well, that in my mind is totally wrong. I read a study, and maybe it's just for my network marketing business, but I read a study just done 6 months ago, Frank, so it's not one that was done when I was a teenager, okay? And the average person doesn't make the buy decision until after 5 or 6 contacts. And you know what the average salesman stops calling on? About 3 or 4. So I don't think you come across needy if you're calling a customer back, especially when in your previous conversation you set up the next conversation. I mean, if you call them and you get voicemail 5 times and you say, "Please call me back, please call me back," yeah, you're right. But I think you have to be careful with what you're saying there because I talked to a customer yesterday afternoon. I left him some information. I'm going to forward him some information today. I told him I will call him Monday to follow up on it, and I think when you do the process where you've talked to a customer and you always leave them whether they're interested or not. I mean, I've got guys that aren't interested, and I've always left. Well, I'm going to contact you in a month just to see if something's changed in your life or your needs changed. So from my perspective, I think one, I've always been a customer-centric salesperson. Always. To me, the customer is king. I'm not. And if that makes me insecure, well, I'm insecure. Two, I've always been one that followed up and followed up and followed up to the point where I had a customer one time say to me, "I will never buy from you," and my comment to him was, "Yes, you will. You just don't know when." And the guy ended up being my biggest customer. So I just don't buy that whole follow-up insecurity bit. I understand if I come across begging for business, absolutely, that's wrong. But if I'm doing it in a professional manner, I'm following up, I'm leaving information, all, I insecure. That's my two pits.
Anyone
Okay,
else?
ready? Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can I say
Dick.
something?
Dick, no, I'm not gonna go there. No, I like Dick too much.
Well, you two guys are so much fun to have on.
No, even though he's a Giants fan, he was back in 1974 when I went in his office. Yeah, and he's wrong then too, and he's wrong now. Okay, getting back to that.
Yeah, who got 2 Super Bowl victories over your Pats?
All right. You're right.
Oh, here we go. Frank,
You know what?
you're a slut. Even your
How the
teams are
hell
bad.
that guy held on to the ball on the top of his head? I still don't know how the hell. And Wes Welker dropped it again. I don't want to go there. Okay, let's talk about business.
All right, back on business.
Dick, there's 2 reasons why those people don't call you back, and you got to call them back. Okay? And they're telling you messages loud and clear. And again, we're just strictly business, not personal. Number 1, they know you'll call them. They don't have to call you back. Okay? Needy. Number 2, you did not give them a reason to take your call. You didn't intrigue them to have the next call, the next conversation, the next meeting. The goal, to me, again, the goal of every meeting, telephone call, and whatever you're doing is to set up the next step. Someone asked me, I was into a podcast the other day, how many sales calls do you have to make before you make a sale? Okay? And we get that a lot. Sometimes a 1-call sale, sometimes a 7-call sale, whatever it is. And the answer is as many as the buyer wants. You are not in control. The buyer is in control. Everybody has their own buying process. And we have 5 of us here on this panel. All 5 of us buy in 5 different ways. Okay? Our job as small business owners and vendors is to make sure we have a person worth our time, because our time is valuable. Number 2, and that we're doing a good job of understanding their requirements, if what Mark Jalome said. And number 3, that we're explaining the positives and the value that we bring. And number 4, that we're intriguing them and say, you know what, I'd like to know more about you. People buy when they're convinced it's time to buy, not because you call them back. Now, that guy that says, I'll never buy from you and became your biggest customer, he should be in your Hall of Fame, because that happens so rarely. And yet those are stories we always hear about. Those are the anecdotal stories. But the customers don't need us to learn about what they can learn about our product. They need us to show them the way and to lead them the way and to bring our expertise, our wisdom, our knowledge, and our special sauce, if you will, of our point of view. Matter of fact, there was a lady named Sally Hogshead. She wrote a book called Fascinate, which is really good. And she makes a great statement. She says, don't change who you are, become more of who you are. Every one of us is so special, has something special that we care about our business. I know Jalome does with New York Life and so forth, and I do my prospecting, you do with Legal Shield, Dick. That no one, there can be 1,000 other Shield representatives out there, but none of them is a Dick Bentley. And none of them brings to the table what Dick Bentley does that is special. And that's what we've got to promote. And the minute I believe that you buy into that and you act like that, your prospects will believe that, and they will treat you with respect, and they will return your call and buy when they're ready to buy. That's it.
Well, Frank, I think you kind of made my point.
You mean I was not an ignorant slut? Okay.
No, you said how many
think
calls does it take to make the sale?
It's
And
Frank.
that was my
Sir,
point. My point was
one.
you call as many times as you do, and you always in your sales process leave a reason to talk to the guy again. If I call a guy 3 times and never calls you back, I'm not going to call him. But if I have a guy that is returning calls and doesn't hang up on me, I'm going to keep leaving a reason to call. You know, it's like the old in the Seinfeld thing where George Costanza left a hat behind, so you have a reason to go back and see the girl. You know, you always leave something behind so you can go see it. And two, your first comment was, he knows the buyer knows how many times that he's ready to buy. Suppose he's sitting there waiting. He says, if Dick calls me today, then I've lost the sale. So so I think you kind of made my point there, to be honest with you.
No, as a matter of fact, you made my point.
Well, then I guess we're
now
both
you guys
agreeing.
are both
Then,
making notes.
Well, let me jump in and give an alternate thought here, and I think that might have some value to the conversation as well. But I always ask CEOs why people pay them money. Why do people pay you money? And a lot of people, they'll answer it with, oh, because I have a PhD, or oh, I do this, or oh, I'm that. None of that is true. Why people pay you money is because you add value in their life. And when you stop adding value in their life, they're going to stop paying you. And Frank, I mean, it kind of goes along with, if the item doesn't answer the mail, so to speak, they're not going to buy. And so that's my 2 cents worth, for whatever that's worth.
I got a nickel to throw in on this conversation.
As long as it's not a plug nickel.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, is when it comes to calling clients back, time makes a huge difference. Talking to somebody in January, they may not be ready to buy. They may not be in a position to buy. They may not have whatever need should fuel the fire to purchase whatever they need to purchase. But you call them 2 or 3 months later, and then all of a sudden, life happens. Things change. And now they need to buy. And you're right there. So I don't think that it's needy to call people back. I don't think that shows it. I mean, on the flip side, the neediness, people can sense when a salesperson walks in and needs that sale for whatever reason it is, because it's that hard sale, it's the push. You can just, when you're needy, you smell of it. That's my nip.
May I say something here?
Oh, absolutely. You just did.
Can we hear it? Okay.
Yes.
I think I owned a bookstore for 10 years. And I sat in that store 6 days a week for 10 years. So, what went on in that store? I got at least 10 to 20 cold calls a week and probably at least 5 salespeople a week dropping in. Okay? Then I also had my own salespeople that I had to deal with a week. So look at it at the client's side here. I am getting bombarded by salespeople. Okay, while you guys are talking, I am thinking what went on when I was at the store. Okay, I'm always interested in listening to somebody, but when I get 10 a day, I don't want to hear anybody. So you could sell me gold for free, and I don't want to hear it. But if you follow up, and I think that's what Mark was saying on there with the follow-up, if you catch me, maybe I have some time, maybe I feel in the right moment, I will listen to what you have to say. Okay? And now let's go to value, what Peter says. So now I'm listening. So now I hear value. Okay. So now I hear value, now I want to hear specifics. What can you do for me? What can you do for my business, and how can I earn profit from you, basically? So as a person on the other side, that's what I'm thinking when I hear salesmen and when salesmen come to me. I want someone polite. I don't want anybody pushy. And try not to tell me too much about my business. I'm always looking for some helpful hints, and maybe this worked over here, or maybe this worked there, but don't try to totally tell me how to do my business. And that's my name is Mark again, Giardino of sportsrefer.com.
We are pretty much almost in agreement here, except for a couple of points, which is surprising. Um, you know, getting back to what Jalom said about they're ready in 6 months. Mark, I agree. People buy when they're ready to buy, not when you want to sell them. And that's more true today than it was before 1993, because buyers are so much in control of the process, and they know it. They know it, and I don't blame them. They know it. Our job in the first, when I say call, by the way, I don't mean, well, I guess I mean a conversation. If I call and leave you a voicemail, that's not a call. That's just it's not a I guess it's a conversation, whether it's face to face or over the phone. We've always got to be delivering value. You know, these people think their time is more valuable than yours. And by the way, it is to them, so they're not wrong. But unless you add something of value to me for the time I'm giving you on the call, whether it be in person or on the phone, I'm going to consider you a time waster, and you're going to fall in stature from in my mind. And the further you fall, the less an option you are for me to buy from you. So, and again, and I can talk about this because I did this for years. Matter of fact, let me tell you when I stopped doing this. And it was before I knew what I know today. It's when I was going visiting potential investors in the Far East, and I was asking for anywhere from $5 million to $15 million. And my attitude was, hey, I've got a great opportunity for you to invest. I did not thank them for their time. I didn't say, I know how busy you are. Baloney, I'm busy. I just flew up to New Delhi, where I was going to. I said, I got an hour to spend with you, but I got to catch another flight or another meeting. Let's get as much as we can done in an hour. And if you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll get back to you. Anyway, so I had that attitude, and it wasn't arrogance, even though it sounds arrogant as I'm talking about it, but it was done professional. But I valued what I was bringing to the table, whether it be wisdom, expertise, knowledge, opportunity, chance to protect your family, a chance to invest in your protect your business from a legal matter, chance to do website stuff. That is so much value, and when you diminish that value by your actions and your words, it diminishes in the eyes of your prospect, and they think you're less than what you actually are. That's the point I was trying to make.
All righty. Let's swing over to another topic. I have a new client, agelesssecret.com, a shameless plug for Jim, but shameless. However, one thing that's very important, if you have a business, and it doesn't fit, I don't think, any of you guys, but if you're selling a product like a Defender, like one of my self-defense weapons, realize that every month has a holiday in it. That's a capitalistic thing. Every month has a holiday, and you ought to be repackaging your products and items heading for those specials every month. That's one tip of the day from my side of life. The other one was, you ever stand in line at the grocery store at the checkout line, and they have all the little items of last-minute grab, impulse buy? And I was standing there one day thinking, how could I capitalize on that on the internet? How could you make your internet site work the same way? Well, what happened was, in my case, when somebody made an order, I immediately emailed them back thanking them for the order, but then I sent them to an after-purchase page with the logic that you've already paid for the shipping. Once you buy another tool or two, I'll just throw it in the box. It's just no big deal. And that actually increased my sales by over 30%, but as a minimum 30%. So little tidbit off the side note there, but doesn't fit you guys at all. But for those that have businesses out there, certainly it can help for sure.
Peter,
Yes.
with the store, again, like you were saying, holiday every month, I was in a seasonal mode. So how I merchandise my store according to the season. And what I did was I had three seasons that I merchandise, and it was, of course, Christmas season. I had a spring season, and then I had a summer season. And each I merchandised the store. I would change things around, add some products according to the season. So I think actually we can use that idea in our sales as far as holiday season and things of that nature. That's a very good point.
You know, I'm actually waiting for Mark Jalone to offer me New York Life Insurance hot sizzling summer special.
Yeah, we're federally regulated, and we're not allowed to give any type of specials.
Well, you can call it anything you want. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's kind of it was something that was rolling through my mind, air conditioning and heating company. Here in the helping them do some stuff, blah blah blah. Long story short, hot special. Something. There's always a gimmick. Something that consumers like to get that little added extra. They love
do.
it.
Yep.
You know, whether it's a $10 gift card to Starbucks, which I periodically dropped off with a few of my clients, or whatever it is.
I never got one of
They
those.
like to get that little. You're not one of my clients yet.
Well, it
We work in
helps
different-
to greet these kids, you know. I mean, come on now.
Well, that was like the cases of beer that we were discussing over.
Oh,
But, you know, it's
Mark,
the
you
exact
ignorant slut. What are you mentioning that shit for? There you go.
I think it's called incentive. Guys, it's incentive. Any one way,
But you're absolutely right.
they're looking for incentives to buy.
Bingo.
Yeah, I agree, and Mark, you're right. You're right. What I've noticed with the air conditioning and heating guys, of course, there's two seasons for them, and some of the more interesting, not gimmicks by any means, but intel, like when we get to this season here, where it's starting to get hot now in the valley. You know, come and do a free look, see what condition my condition's in, so to speak. You know, and as a courtesy call, and then see if you can upsell from there, or sell them what they need, mind you. You know, if you need Freon in your compressor, then they give you some more of that. You know, but those are good things, I think.
Right, and there's multiple
Peter,
different ways for everybody to figure those out.
Yes, Dick.
I was just going to say you're right, because there are 2 or 3 companies online that I do business with throughout the year, and you can count on, if not every month, very, very regularly, they tie it to some existing holiday that's coming up to send me an email about a special and advantage of it because of the holiday and things like that. So I think that's a valuable tip that you do, and I have sometimes taking advantage of them. If there's a company I know, I open up, I look at it, and if there's something there that I need, I'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, this kind of like newsletters that go out each month. If you're good, to harvest opt-in clients, and they get excited. Or maybe they take it to the bathroom to read. Who cares where they consume the newsletter? But and offers are certainly good like that too.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's see what else we want to do here. Anybody else got something they want to talk about?
I've got. I guess I got one other thing
Okay.
that I forgot to mention in terms of sign of neediness, and this is really going to piss some people off. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Jalome. You ready for this? I sincerely believe that if you cajole your prospects or customers into giving you referrals of family and friends, that's a sign of neediness. Don't do it.
Gee, that's the heart of BNI, isn't it?
Don't do it.
Don't go there.
The better option, the one where you come from a position of strength, is you convince them that they will look good to introduce you to the people that could use your help. And Mark, I went through this training, and Mark has gone through a training at all. We have this whole new referral thing in the life insurance business where you sit down, you have a bunch of questions. Who do you know just got married? Who do you know just had a baby? Who do you know, bada bum, bada bum, bada bing? And it's crap. It's crap. Okay?
And
the names
Frank, I agree.
Really? That surprises me.
Yeah. No, well, you know what? I know the whole spiel about it, and I know the concept behind it. But you're right. It is a needy-ish type of way. I get my referrals for the simple reason of once I'm done working with my clients, which generally takes quite some time, they'll usually go, well, God, I've got a couple of people that are in the same position. Do you think that I could introduce them to you? I'd be more than happy to help.
There you go.
Let me weigh in on that too. I mean, I've always enjoyed Dick's company and particularly his Legal Shield business. I think so much of. I knew them when they first got started back in the day, prepaid legal, and they've come a long way. And I actually, Dick, you'll be proud of me. Here's my Legal Shield. My own Legal Shield thing here.
Yeah, thank you.
I got my packet.
There it is.
But the thing that I like, the thing I like about it is I'm really a very proactive Legal Shield member now, to the point where I was on I do internet training, right? So I was on a call last week, and this gentleman was talking about having to get a lawyer to do something or other. What was my opinion of that? And I said, for $19.95 or $29.95 or whatever package he picks, have Legal Shield do it. And he didn't even know that the service could be that affordable.
Yeah.
And so I turned Dick right over to Jeff, and I presume he'll get on board and he'll love it too. So I mean, I'm a satisfied client. So referrals for me isn't a hard thing to do. I look for the opportunity to pass people over to Dick, because I like the product.
Right. Peter, you're right, and thank you. And I have talked with him, and I've emailed him, and much to Frank's chagrin, I have called him back, and we are communicating. and I would just like to say one thing here on Frank's last comment, that I guess the thing that is forward to me, Frank, is you're speaking in absolutes, and there's no such thing as an absolute anything. There are gray areas, and there are different shades of gray. There's all different things that you can deal in, and I agree with you. If you go around, just talking, give me your, one of the things in network marketing is, you get all your friends and family in a conference call and all this stuff. I agree with that part of it, but to Peter's point, after you have signed up for whatever program, we'll talk about Legal Shield. I follow all the time. Anybody I've signed, I keep in touch with at least once a month, and I say to them, well, if you know anyone else that you think could use my service and be benefit from it, please let them know about it. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong, and that's why when you make a statement that is an absolute, I think that's where I have an issue.
Okay, let me absolutely respond then.
Frank, just be frank about it, will you?
Yes. Dick, what you just said was again, it's my fault. I didn't explain it properly. It's when, and Mark and I have been trained on this, is when you sit down with a blank piece of paper and you ask them for names and numbers. Those are referrals. What you just did is you asked for introductions.
Right.
That's a completely different case. Let them know about you is different than give me their name and number and I'll call them in a few days and see if you're interested in talking to me. That's what I was talking about. What you did is that makes a lot of sense. It's called introductions. You earned the introduction because you did such a good job,
Well,
as opposed to saying, "Hey, we just met for the." I saw. Yeah, I had an example the other day that was on video. Again, when I first dated my wife, name was Linda, on our first date. Imagine if I said, we had a good first date. And that first date, and I says, you know what, Linda, you and I are very compatible. I think we have a good connection and so forth. Listen, the toughest part of my dating is finding quality women like you to date. Would you give me the names of your friends that maybe I should contact and go out on a date as well? I said, what the hell are you talking about? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You asked for introductions because of the job you did well. That's completely different than saying, give me names and numbers of people I can call even if they don't want me to, see if I can convince them to meet with me to talk about Legal Shield. That's bad. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
And
that's why, hopefully there's a lot. Yes, they'll
Go ahead.
listen to us live or
go ahead.
on tape, but I'll finish up quick. But I just wanted to make sure that that it's understood. There's a difference between what we're talking about here, as far as just asking for names and numbers of everybody who had babies and stuff like that. I think there's a way of following up like that is in the next lead or introduction that is professional. So I'll stop talking. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just to say, I understand what Frank was saying, because, I've never felt comfortable with pulling out a little laundry list and saying, well, how many people do you know that have just had a baby recently? And to me, that kind of puts the client or the prospect in an uncomfortable spot. And whereas if once you get to kind of know everything, and realistically, it's once the deal's done, and you've helped them and you've shown them the value, then it's very easy to come back and say, is there anybody else that you know of that I can help with what we've just gone through? And those are two totally different ways for asking referrals. And, with how you did it and how that's the right way. Just going up and saying, hey, how old's your sister? Does she have life insurance? Does she have a website? Does she have a car? That's where it just kind of goes into that uncomfortableness if you do it wrong.
Right.
Again, we agree. You guys are no longer ignorant sluts.
Thank golly.
Okay.
Well, maybe we finally educated you enough, Frank, that you're now up on our level.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All righty then.
Well done, Mark. I like that. That was good.
Hey, one thing I want to say, the 111 business group meeting we had this last week. We had a superb situation there. I wanted to mention it. One of the people that were given their talk was Hamilton. He's a CPA tax guy, and Frank and I and the rest of us were sitting there listening to him, and I think it was Gordon Kelly that asked him, what's your elevator pitch? And I almost said, well, the elevator pitch has come in three flavors. You got the 10-second, the 20, the 30-second, and the 1 minute elevator pitch. Which one do you want? But he did such a I don't want to say poor job, but he stumbled through it, and I just jumped right in. I wrote this down, and I said, read this out loud, will you? And he says, I make sure you won't pay more than you owe. Okay, that's a good thing, and you won't go to jail. That's what a good CPA is all about. And Frank, do you still remember the other points you pointed out there?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I told him that I have trouble concentrating, and so after 3 minutes of accounting, I said, I'm done with this crap. I don't want to hear any more about this. But I got 4 takeaways. The 2 that Peter mentioned. Then Hamilton was talking about how he'll go in and review your past returns, and then also if you're into an audit, he'll go and go with you to explain your returns. And the 2 lines I came up with, I said, you know what, if you're concerned about the past work done by your previous accountant or CPA firm, and we're like a CSI. We'll go in and do forensic accounting and see where the problems may have been, so we can correct them. And number 2, if you ever get called into an audit, we will be like your Johnny Cochran, giving you the best representation, because if it doesn't fit, you must not acquit, or you must acquit. And so those are the 2 things we come up with. And it kind of, what we did is we kind of brought things down into, and again, and this is me, and I know it's my fault, but it's how I think, in sound bites. Because you know what? The internet is full of sound bites. If the sound bite doesn't attract them, they'll never hear your pitch. You must intrigue them and entice them and lure them in with it. It's like, to me, I call it cleavage and abs. Unless you got the cleavage and the abs, no one's going to approach you.
I think the internet police are coming to get you, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's siren.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's I'm at the hospital.
Oh, is that right?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the ambulance.
Uh,
Not
Oh.
my ambulance. I'm good. I
I-
drove myself.
Well, sell them a life insurance policy. Go find out if they had a baby.
yeah.
By then, it's usually too late.
Yeah, well, it's a great place to prospect, I would think, right outside the ER. You know?
There you go.
I was
Yeah.
that quadruple bypass.
Yeah. What are you leaving behind for your people, you know? You got to think about
That
that.
does take ambulance chaser to the next level.
Yes, well, if anybody could do it, it would be Mark Jalone.
There you go.
He's fearless. He could do that. So,
Thank
I want to say I'm listening to all these points, and each one, Frank, great points, big, excellent points, Mark and Peter also. I think what we need to do is just bring all this together and see what works best for us, and what works best for our product, what works best for our personality, and kind of and see where we can go, and what's best for our clients. And I think put it all together, and I think it'll be a good thing for all of us.
okay, good point, good point. All right, guys, we're coming up on our hour. Let's do a wrap-up. Dick, you want to wrap up anything?
Sure. I want first of all to thank Frank for really setting the table today. It was a great discussion, and again, we had a lot of varied opinions, which I think adds value to this hour. And that's pretty much it. But Frank, again, thanks. It was a great job.
Thank you.
Yes, Frank, good job. Mark Giardino, you want to wrap it up on your side? Anything?
Yeah, just we're real excited about sportsrefer.com, social network sports website, and glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you bet. Master Jalone, any wrap-up thoughts there?
I just want to thank everybody for making my commute up to Riverside always enjoyable.
I was going to say, from the background look, it looks like you're at the VA hospital.
I am at the VA hospital.
I know that look. I know that look very well.
My only wrap-up point, it really ties into what Mark said. And what it is that each situation is a little bit different. And not everybody likes vanilla ice cream. Not everybody likes chocolate ice cream. So you've got to come with 31 flavors. There's my plug for Baskin-Robbins today.
Oh, and you own stock in them, I'm sure.
I do own some stock in Baskin-Robbins. But
Alrighty.
if you can offer the flavor of life and change it to tailor the individual needs, you've got a gold mine.
Frank, you want to wrap up your wrap-up?
Sure.
Frankly?
Yeah. Again, I want to go on what Mark Giardino said, and also what Mark Jalome said. Everybody else said here. You only know that you don't like chocolate ice cream by tasting chocolate ice cream. That's the only way to find out if you don't like it. I come from a different perspective, and I bring it. And by the way, and I'm sincere about my perspective. And I talk in absolutes, and I agree, I do. But consider it, and if it doesn't fit for you, do something that fits for you. Just don't change who you are, become more of who you are. And I love that statement, and I'll close with that.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, another good show. Appreciate everybody on. Next week, we're going to change our time, right, Dick? We need to shift it.
If possible, yeah.
To what?
Well, that was my next question. What's comfortable for you guys? Can we shift it to 11, or would that help, Dick?
10. Well, 10 is fine, or even leave it as it is, and I'll just, I'm getting here about 10 minutes before it starts, which is fine. So let's try it another week at 9 and see how it
Okay.
works, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get people
And
used to watching this at a certain time. I hate to keep bouncing it around,
right.
you know.
Right, too.
Also, I
So
will remind
let's leave it
everybody we
like
have
it is.
our entrepreneurial. Okay. And next week on Monday at 11:45, Frank, you can show up at Saros for our entrepreneur club, and we'll all see you.
Okay, that would be nice.
That was my bad, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to send an
a lot
email
going
out
on
to
in my
the.
life. That was my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, good enough. Okay, guys. We'll see you along the way. Good show. Hang on while I close this off here. Hang on.